Human consciousness is rising to a new level. I will explain how to unlock the supernatural power of your mind. What is paranormal psychology? Parapsychology is the study of mental phenomena. We have 5 regular senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Very few people know that we also have a 6th sense that can access external psychic data. This is the intuitive sense. We have an instinctual survival sense within us that needs to be developed. I will explain this in detail. As well as artificial superintelligence, we can also develop human superintelligence. Human consciousness is rising to a new level. This message has the power to greatly change your life if you allow it to. If you are struggling with finding purpose and meaning in your life, or you have a lack of success in your business or personal life, this message will greatly help you. Maybe you are someone who is bored with worldly possessions and desire to elevate to a higher level of consciousness. Money cannot buy true enlightenment and mental abilities. It is something you must walk through the fire of your own psyche to obtain. Some people will have difficulty listening to this message due to a deep shame, fear, or guilt within them. It is possible for you to heal and strengthen your mind. It is highly important for you to understand that there is a spiritual world around us, like an energy field, and it is possible for you to connect to it. The reason we are discussing the topic of parapsychology is because I believe that one of life's great missions is to develop your mind to the fullest. A person with a properly developed mind will gain great mental abilities, but will also have inner peace and love for others. Without having peace and love, all the mind training in the world would be meaningless. I have worked behind the scenes for many years, helping people from industry leaders to homeless alcoholics. I have traveled the world and have witnessed many supernatural occurrences. I am taking a step out so I can help more people. I have a great love for those who are struggling and looking to develop their mind. There are certain terms that relate to the subject of parapsychology, such as paranormal, metaphysics, paraphysics, dark psychology, ESP, Monroe, transcendental, Stargate, remote viewing, out-of-body experience, automatic writing, scanate, telepathy, psychic, mind reader, empath, alchemist, clairvoyant, third eye, clairsentience, shaman, mystic, esoteric, illuminist, healer, visionary, viewer, diviner, oracle, seer, and prophet. Throughout this message, we will discuss some of these terms. The concept of parapsychology was common knowledge and part of society until recently. In recent times, the common person is too distracted by watching television and having petty squabbles to understand this subject even exists, when in reality, this is one of the subjects that truly matters. I assure you that at the high levels of society, this topic is very important. The Illuminists, above fame, money, and power, are trying to transcend and achieve enlightenment by unlocking a certain area in their brain, which allows the mind to become a receptor and receive knowledge and operate in the cosmic realm. When they can't figure it out, they try to use technology or drugs to achieve it, but can't. They can't achieve it this way because it is a spiritual energy that they don't understand yet, and it doesn't operate this way. Researchers of this topic cannot answer one very important question, which I will answer in detail. In the end of your life, when you take your last breath, do you think you will have wished you watched more television, spent more time at the office, or argued more with people? No. You will only care about how much you developed your mind to connect to the spiritual and the love you were able to have towards others because of it. A person is made up of three parts: the spirit, soul, and body. The body is physical, and the spirit and soul are two separate and distinct non-physical parts that make up a person. The soul is the mind and emotions. The spirit is what connects to the cosmic or supernatural realm. We have talked a lot about the soul and body. Now we will discuss the spirit. Even developing elements of these topics will greatly help you in business and family relationships. It will also help you develop inner peace and purpose in your life. Psychic abilities can be initiated by trauma that you experienced in your early years, and then developed and harnessed through the healing of that trauma. Examples of trauma would be a near-death experience, abuse, or addiction. Parapsychology is not publicly scientifically proven due to its secretive use, but someone who knows how to operate in this can easily prove it's real. There are many modern clinical terms for ancient mystical abilities. Institutionalized religion may think that this subject is occult, when in actuality all their writers were people with mystical powers. This subject is very common in mythology, ancient religion, and intelligence. For example, the clinical term is psychic. The mystical term is seer. The definition of them both is the same. This can also apply to the words energy and spirit, which can be understood like an invisible psychic electricity. The Greek origin of the word psychic is essentially the breath of life into the mind. Meditative breathing techniques can develop these abilities. The word breath and spirit are the same word in the ancient language. The definition of words such as telepathy, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and ESP is the ability to share and understand thoughts and feelings directly between minds without using words or the known senses. It is often referred to as mind reading. A mind reader is someone who can look into the window of the eye and see someone's soul and understand their thoughts, emotions, and intentions. In ancient writing, it states, "He knew their thoughts." This refers to mind reading. You can achieve the same mind as this ancient spirit and do the same. Psychic is a spectrum of varying intuitive abilities. Many people have these abilities but have not learned how to develop and harness them. People who put themselves in a state of anxiety and mental noise by engaging in obsessive arguing and focusing on world events distract and block themselves from developing their own mind. To unlock the mind, you must quiet it from unnecessary noise. Also, an overweight or weak body, taking pharmaceutical drugs, or eating unhealthy foods can block you from developing mental abilities. A clean and disciplined lifestyle will strengthen your mind and clear your thought process. Most thoughts that come into your mind are not yours. They originate from an external source. A thought is a psychic energy that enters your spirit. Thoughts that are received from an outside source can be destructive also and need to be processed properly. Depression and anxiety can be caused from external dark energy entering your conscious or unconscious mind. It is possible for a lying spiritual energy to enter your mind and tell you lies about yourself. A lot of cases of anxiety, depression, and suicide are caused by this. Out of all the paranormal abilities, the one that has impacted world history the most is what is called automatic writing, intuitive writing, or spirit writing. The definition of automatic writing is writing that is produced by a spirit or the subconscious mind of a person rather than by the conscious intention of the human writer. This is when spiritual energy operates through a person to write down important information. It was through this process that the ancient writing was formed. A seer or a viewer in a meditative state becomes a scribe for the ancient spirit. Much of world history was built upon automatic writing. It is highly powerful and something I can explain much about. There is an intuitive psychic energy that can guide your life, but you must calm and discipline your mind to be able to sense it. There is a spirit that guides your path to safety and success. Most people are too distracted and burdened by the chaos of the world to hear it. Contemplate on all the events in the sky. how the lights in the sky do not change their courses, how each rises and sets in order, each at its proper time, and they do not transgress the cosmic law. The mind and body also have physical, emotional, and spiritual laws that must be followed so they can be strong and fully functional. A practical and basic example of minor telepathy would be finishing someone's sentence or unknowingly saying the same word at the same time as someone else in a sense that is more than just a random coincidence. Or when you smile at a friend because you know you are both thinking the same thing. It is when your thought pattern within your psyche becomes in line with someone else, becoming one in the spirit. Your physical body contains a spirit being within it. This is why you can feel someone standing near you with no physical contact. The spiritual energies are sensing each other. Another example would be sensing an uncomfortable feeling with a stranger, such as a sense of danger, or walking into a home that feels as though it has a dark energy, often referred to as a haunted house. Have you ever felt an unexplainable presence with you? Or have you felt as though someone is watching you or standing behind you? I can explain what this is, and it may be very different than what you think it is. Have you ever seen what some would call a ghost? Or had an unexplainable encounter with some type of spiritual entity, or felt a spiritual presence of something? These are all examples of minor paranormal mental ability. As you go higher up the psychic spectrum, the abilities become more advanced and developed. Each person's abilities will be stronger in certain areas. Learning how to feel someone's mood before engaging in a discussion with them is very beneficial in business and family relationships. Have you ever felt someone's anger towards you when they were not even present with you? This is a prime example of psychic energy. There is an untapped power within your mind that can be unlocked. We will now discuss an out-of-body experience, which in pop culture is called astral projection, and what is clinically referred to as remote viewing. This is when your consciousness, your spirit, separates from your physical body and enters the spiritual energy realm. Remote viewers can see faraway locations and find targets, see themselves from outside their body, locate certain objects or people, and use mystical ways to obtain confidential information. Remote viewing is better understood as remote perception, where you can see and sense surroundings in remote locations and receive signals. Examples would be someone who can put themselves into a meditative, hypnotic state and find a kidnapped child, or look into a foreign missile silo. Their consciousness travels to a different place than their physical body is. Institutionalized religion will consider this a type of occult. Interesting enough, In the ancient writing, there is a hypnotic state referred to as a trance, where the consciousness goes into a hypnotic state and sees external events. Psychic spies have engaged in international mind war for millennia. One of the earliest recordings of this was approximately 2,500 years ago, when an ancient seer looked into a foreign king's bedroom in a distant land and heard the private words he was speaking. Warfare, where psychic spies read the enemy's mind, will greatly intensify in the coming years. World leaders are very open to psychic phenomena because they know it works. Teamwork can greatly improve the outcomes to these practices. Psychic energy increases when more viewers are involved. Many of the intelligence programs relating to this subject failed and lost people because they did not incorporate the vital component of the subject living a pure life with a clean conscience. Without this aspect, the energy realm can destroy the subject and the program will ultimately fail. If the subject has untreated or active darkness, the energy realm will react to this and there will be negative outcomes. The agencies did not understand that the subject's core wound and accompanying symptoms must first be overcome before they are induced. If this is not done properly, the subject can slip into a different channel and be ineffective and very likely harmed in the process. To be the most effective, the subject should have years of discipline before engaging in these practices. Some of the programs and training methods can be painful and also harmful if not done properly. It is possible to induce and initiate psychic abilities with scientific intelligence through frequency waves, vibrations, hemisync signals, certain types of music, or more extreme methods such as electric impulses, sounds from other dimensions, and chemicals. These programs open gateway channels of the consciousness. These methods reprogram the psyche, and some can be potentially harmful. If someone who is engaged in mind development begins to feel depressed, they must exit that channel immediately. Advanced mind development should only have the joy of enlightenment. Even though dark entities can be present, the subject must always have power over them. The spiritual energy realm can be understood like a supernatural electric current. Its presence can cause signals to the body, such as vibrations, trembling sensations, and also hearing high-pitched frequency sounds. At the end of this message, I will show you a practical exercise to understand the concept of remote viewing. We will now discuss the concepts of inner knowing, inner vision, inner voice, inner guide, or the spirit of truth. This can be understood as the word conscience, which means to understand deep within you what is right and wrong. An example would be when you sense someone is lying to you or trying to deceive you. You receive a signal in your psychic sense that something is not right. This intuition can be developed and strengthened. Having the ability to have a strong sense of inner knowing will help you in every aspect of your life. Many people have the spirit of error due to dysfunctional lifestyles that cause mental noise. Have you heard of a mother's instinct? A mother's genetic DNA in her child can transmit information through the psychic field, even after the child is out of the womb and in a distant place. The mother can sense when their child is in danger. She can receive signals. A mother can also emanate immense physical strength through paranormal mental abilities when her child is in danger. Superconsciousness can manifest into physical realities. The definition of ESP, or extrasensory perception, is a paranormal ability through a sixth sense, second sight, or an energy outside of your senses to obtain information not gained through the recognized physical senses. Examples of ESP would be mind reading, seeing distant places, solving near impossible mysteries, and predicting future events. Remote viewing and mind reading are very different practices, yet do have some similarities. It is possible to learn how to engage in these type of practices. The vast majority of people have a consciousness. You just need tools to discipline it. At the end of this message, I will explain how you can begin to develop these supernatural mental abilities. So many people train their bodies physically at the gym, but never train their mind. People who are naturally creative or artistic will see miraculous enhancements to their creative abilities when they begin to train their psyche. There is also a phenomena called psychic healing. This is when the spiritual energy realm creates a power similar to electricity to miraculously heal a sickness in a person's body. There is a source of eternal power outside of yourself, like an energy field. This information may seem strange or foolish to some, but I assure you, at the high levels of society, this subject is very important. There is a psychological term referred to as prophetic consciousness. This means to be able to sense future events. A practical and basic example would be sensing a storm that is coming, such as a flood. A premonition that something is about to happen. An advanced seer can see future events such as war and political, economical, and cultural changes that will occur in the future. The spiritual person transcends political and social fighting, and rather has love and compassion for all who are struggling and in need of healing. A true seer is known by their love for others, and also if what they predict happens. A seer is the ultimate detective who can solve complex mysteries through mystical practices. Have you ever experienced a traumatic event in your life that is continuing to torment you? If the answer is yes, there is a way for you to be healed from this torment and become a stronger person because of it. Overcoming fear is vital in the development of your mind. Your wound can become the source of your wisdom. As you develop mental abilities, you can begin to see synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, reoccurring numbers, patterns, have more vivid dreams, and heightened intuition. As you advance and your faith increases in this subject, gifts of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding spiritual energy will begin. You may experience seeing supernatural lights such as flashing sparks, holographic-like wings, spirit beings, cosmic smoke, fire, or colors. Dark shadows can also appear. You can train your eyes to see the spiritual realm. There is an external spirit giving power to your spirit to be able to operate through you to accomplish functions on the earth. We should always have a desire to help society and people who are in need. Learning this subject will greatly benefit both your business life and personal life. You will begin to operate on a totally different level. When you engage in these type of abilities, you enter a cosmic realm. There is always a light and a darkness in this realm, an energy that contains peace, love, and good intentions towards others, and also an energy that contains anxiety, sickness, and bad intentions towards others. In the world today, there is a crisis of intentions. We will now briefly discuss the topic of dark psychology, mind control, and occult, such as casting spells, drug use as potions, magic, and witchcraft. These topics are very real and possess serious power. The official definition of witchcraft is the practice of magic for nefarious purposes to cast spells and often include psychedelic potions. Wicca is the name of the largest pagan religion. It is one of the fastest growing religions because people are searching to see a spiritual reality through nature-based practices. Not all witchcraft is Wiccan. Wiccans are very earth and nature focused. We will discuss why that is in a coming episode. Blood rituals such as sacrifice, which can take many forms, can also be incorporated into witchcraft to give spells more power in the energy field. Sex, drugs, and magic play a central role in occult rituals. Pornography possesses a very strong, dark, and addictive psychic energy that can leave a person feeling depressed. There is a method on how to overcome this addiction. People who engage in spiritual practices are generally searching for ultimate truth and sometimes go in different directions. People who engage in witchcraft can suffer from severe depression, But rather than judging them too harshly, we should help elevate them to a higher level of consciousness and spiritual truth, which leads to inner peace. We should not condemn people, but rather guide them towards the true light which they are unknowingly seeking. We should always have love in our hearts towards people and a desire to help them. You should not have hate and condemnation towards others. Hating others will only bring anxiety to yourself. I will now explain how spells are cast. I would not recommend trying this because the spell will most likely come back on you. The official definition of the word spell is a form of words used as a magical charm or incantation. The key here is words. Words carry great power to both help and hurt. A spell is when a person engages in a psychic frenzy or rage, chanting words with extreme focus that manifest into a physical reality that is directed at someone. During these rituals, a person can sometimes move physical objects with their mind, which is known as telekinesis. There is also a spell called a remote attack, where a person can engage physically with someone in a different location. There is no distance in psychic energy. There is no time or space. A person can invoke a spell remotely. Ancient shamans and Greek oracles would engage in these type of practices. It is very real and still used all the time. There is also a spiritual genetic mutation where some people do not have a soul or spiritual consciousness. These people do not have a conscience and have very dead-looking eyes, and can also have psychopathic tendencies. They are not able to have an authentic spiritual connection and merely mimic human emotion. The word soul in Greek is psyche. The consciousness is a living, eternal entity that does not die. It's not that you have a soul, you are a soul, you have a body. The soul is who you are. The body dies and the soul continues on. The eternal soul has memories of when it was in the physical body. It is possible to both lose and trade your soul for actions you engage in on earth. There is a big difference between sleight of hand magic tricks and real psychic ability. Just as there is a big difference between fortune telling and prophecy, illusionists and magicians engage in games and theater with no purpose to their acts. True psychic seers operate with purpose and severity in their actions. It is not out of showmanship, it is out of necessity. A seer's function is to bring help and solutions, not entertainment and financial gain. The definition of dark psychology refers to the study of human conditions as it relates to malicious behavior, focusing on manipulation. An example of advanced dark psychology would be staging a mass trauma event to raise emotions for the purpose of creating a control system, promoting a war, or a military draft. Tactics of war are based on deception to confuse the enemy. A high-level operator could also cast what is called a mass hysteria spell into this to make the deception even more powerful. Another example of this is the Mandela effect, which is a phenomenon where a large group of people share the same false memory about past events which are contrary to historical facts. Movies can be used to program people's minds to change history to promote certain agendas, such as war and control systems. Dark psychology can bring earthly benefits through repetitive speech, projections, and love bomb compliments, but will always bring fear, anxiety, and harm along with it. Always seek peace within, authenticity, and love for others. Dark psychologists are amateurs compared to true seers. Dark psychologists can only operate in the immediate external present for gain, opposed to being able to operate in the past and future and see into the present internal soul. A psychic soldier operates in the spiritual energy realm, where a dark psychology operator does not. It is impossible for dark psychology to be used on a seer because they cannot be manipulated by illusion. Using potions and drugs to experience spiritual euphoria and an elevated sense of consciousness will always bring an element of darkness and anxiety into it. It is possible to achieve this experience sober with no drugs, which will lead to peace and lasting knowledge. One of the main keys to accessing the true power is living a clean and wholesome life with a pure conscience. Bad behavior and a guilty conscience blocks you from accessing the true power and the source of it. I would highly recommend learning how to speak to spirits. People talk to spirits all the time, knowingly and unknowingly. I'm sure you have heard someone casually use the phrase, "We are praying for you." What they unknowingly said is that they will be speaking to a spirit for you. What else would they be referring to? There is a spiritual energy field all around us, but because people are so distracted by the noise of the world, they are disconnected from it and only have a carnal understanding, not a spiritual, and therefore there is no power. The spiritual energy field uses telepathy to speak to people, and we can use it to speak back. It all depends on what spiritual channel the power is being generated from. We should always desire to love and help people who are struggling. The greatest peace in life comes when you have a clean conscience and pure intentions towards others. Artificial intelligence is creating telepathy technology through implantable microchips. Think of an audiobook that you download from the internet, and then you have to spend time either listening to or reading it. In the future, this technology will allow people to download all the information directly into their brain in a moment's time. It will also allow you to communicate with others through energy waves. Having security cameras everywhere is an example of technology-based remote viewing. Also, sound wave and frequency technology can be used as a mind control weapon. Mind and sight technology will be used in all future warfare. The other intelligent beings communicate without words and use telepathy, and some of them are teaching this technology, and the human creators don't even know where the knowledge is coming from. These spiritual entities are highly attracted to extreme sources of power, including both psychic and nuclear energy. Some of these beings are not trying to destroy your physical speech. They are trying to destroy your spiritual consciousness. On the next earth, the way we will communicate will be very different than it is on this one. So I would recommend you start learning now. Consciousness is eternal and can travel. It survives the body's physical death. The purpose of life is to develop your spiritual consciousness of the eternal realm so you can return home. Before engaging in these practices, it is important to clear yourself of mental noise caused by inner darkness. One example would be forgiving someone who has seriously harmed you. Another example of darkness would be someone who is living an unclean lifestyle. Inner darkness can block and interfere with developing mental abilities. There is a specific method on how to overcome deep emotional pain. We will now briefly discuss how to develop true powers within your mind and achieve enlightenment that will lead you to more faith in the spirit, inner peace, and success in your life. The first aspect to understand is that, like training the body through fitness and nutrition takes many years, so does training the mind. A professional athlete trains for many years before entering the professional arena, and the training can be a painful process. Unlike the body, the unconscious mind does not respond to logic. It only responds to an emotional path, and this takes time. It doesn't happen immediately and takes much discipline and lifestyle adjustments to achieve maximum success. The state of the body plays a large role in the development of the mind. The spirit, soul, and body are all connected, and if one is out of alignment, the others will not be able to function properly. What you eat, your sleeping patterns, and lifestyle greatly affect your consciousness. In the coming episodes, I will explain in detail how to train the mind and body with the purpose of developing mental phenomena. In closing, I will demonstrate 2 basic practical exercises so you can have more understanding into this topic. These two exercises are very basic and quick examples. Take a moment to relax your mind. Calm your mind. Take several slow breaths in and out. Relax your mind and go into a calm state. Picture in your mind a certain image. Let's say, seeing as we mentioned a flood, let's visualize in our mind a rainbow in the sky. Calm your mind and visualize a rainbow. See the colors of the rainbow in the sky. See the arch and the colors. Take a moment and concentrate. Breathe and calm your mind. Visualize a rainbow in your mind. Can you see it? If you saw a rainbow in your mind, this is a very basic example of a vision. It's like a dream, but you are awake. The rainbow is a very mystical and important image from ancient times. Now, the next one. Take deep breaths and put yourself into a relaxed state. Breathe and visualize a far-away place that you have visited in the past, such as a specific beach or a lake, maybe a cabin, forest, vacation home, or inside of a building you know. Take a moment and concentrate. See that place in your mind as though you are there now. Calm your mind and see the specific details of this place. Now, don't just remember it. See it as it is now, in this very moment. What is happening there now? The time of day and weather condition it would be now. Relax your mind and see this place. See it as though you are there in this very moment. Visualize this place now. Look around the space in different directions. Rest your mind and breathe. Visualize this place. Concentrate and see this place in your mind. Can you see it? If you saw this place in your mind, this is a very basic conceptual understanding of seeing a distant place or remote viewing. Generally, the location will not be familiar to you and you will have a target. This was just a quick conceptual example. Now take a few deep breaths and notice the calmness in your mind right now. Both of these were very quick and simple examples of what can become advanced mental phenomena. Of course, it will become much more detailed and complex than these simple exercises. Now I will give you one practical exercise to take with you. This is an example of how to harness psychic energy. Next time, when you are having a difficult conversation with someone, and you begin to feel an anger or rage rising inside your chest, and angry words about to come out of your mouth, just before an argument begins, remain totally silent. Don't speak. Stay silent instead of speaking the angry words to the person. Breathe and reflect in silence. Don't speak. Remain totally silent and breathe. If you do this properly, you will feel a power and clarity come over you, and then you will feel an inner peace and intuition. This is a basic example of harnessing psychic energy. It takes time for your mind to absorb these practices. A new era of a higher level of consciousness is coming. In the coming episodes, we will go into much more detail. I encourage you to begin to discipline your mind and body with the ultimate purpose in mind to have more peace within you and love for others. I have great compassion for people who are struggling, and it would be an honor to help you. A higher level of consciousness and enlightenment is coming.